Two programs that over the past few years have been nearly as successful as anybody in the nation. Trevin Brazil will jump against the reigning National Player of the Year, Zach Edey. And it's Trevin Brazil that wins it. You think this crowd was excited for B-ball to get back underway?
This is so fun. This is so fun. We're in October and we're getting to see two, top 15 teams play against each other this early. Christmas came early for college basketball fans.
Well, Davis was looking for a statement early, looking for the alley-oop. And if you're Purdue, there's no way you can allow that to happen to get this crowd any more energized than they already are.
Oh, yeah, they're in here and they're ready to explode the top off of this building. Any little thing that Purdue can do to stop the momentum is going to be vital.
Brazil shot it well from three last year before that injury. Out of bounds to the Boilermakers.
You see early and often Arkansas is going to crash the glass. They have a lot of athleticism on this team, and when you look at them versus Purdue, they have to crash the glass when you got someone like Edey.
Starting lineup, a lot of familiar faces. The only new one is Lance Jones, but he's a good one, the transfer from Southern Illinois. Here he is on ball, guarded by L. Ellis.
And you see early on, Arkansas's game plan is to pressure up on these Purdue guards. That was the one thing. If there was one knock on this team last year, was that when you pressured them and got physical, they couldn't get into their sets right there, disrupting them. They couldn't get into their sets, and they were vulnerable. Bad turnover right there for Arkansas. But that was the one thing that Purdue couldn't necessarily get over the hump sometimes, was that pressure. Arkansas is coming out and being real aggressive on them.
Opening left wing three, in and out for Lawyer. Putback is there.
Arkansas can't give up offensive rebounds. Not to a team like this that shoots it at a high percentage. You got to give them one shot and then grab the rebound and go the other way.
Boilermakers can feast on those second chances, something they made a living on in past years, and another turnover for the Razorbacks. With so much talent on this Arkansas team and a lot of newcomers, you wouldn't expect the starting five to be set in stone, probably working some things out, but already two dress rehearsals, if you will, for the Razorbacks, their annual red and white game, and then they played an actual exhibition against UT Tyler 8 days ago.
Yeah, and if you know anything about Eric Musselman and how he runs his program, there's going to be a few changes in the starting lineup as the season goes.
Smith for three. Ellis, the Louisville transfer, has it blocked from the side. Braden Smith with the swat.
Braden Smith, he's so good. Tough guard that got overlooked coming out of high school. Wasn't recruited by a lot of the big schools, so he plays with a huge chip on his shoulder. I'm excited to see him in this game and also as the season goes on.
It showed last year as a freshman. He did not appear to be intimidated at any stretch. Jones for three, got fouled, and he'll go to the line for a trio of free throws.
You don't want to see that if you're Devo Davis. Foul a three-point shooter, especially for someone who's so experienced like he is. It's a mental lapse there.
Fifth-year head coach Eric Musselman, 3 straight Sweet 16 appearances. Back-to-back Elite Eights in 21 and 22. In and out for the veteran Lance Jones. In his 5th year, that's a guy, Manny, that can really score the basketball, but I think more than anything, it's his defense that they're excited about that will fit in with this Purdue team.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you have a guy who's played college basketball for 5 years, older dude, it's going to bring a lot to your team. And with Matt Painter and their staff, they love the defensive side of the ball, and that's his strength. So he's going to play a lot of minutes for this team and be integral in what they're trying to do in their route to win a national championship.
Two-time all-defensive team in the Mo Valley. Purdue out early, 4-0. Arkansas just looking for a quality possession right now. Davis, a little runner, got it.
Arkansas is going to be successful the way they want to be this year. A lot is going to ride on the shoulders of number 4. a guy who's been there, who's played in as big of games as you can possibly play in. He's got to be clutch, and he's got to make the plays if his team wants to be successful this year.
Kaufman-Wren, good spin move. Better defense from Trevin Brazil. Pass was tipped out in front and off the deflection off of Davis' fingertips and out of bounds to Purdue. The turnovers piling up here early, Manny. That's the third for Arkansas, second when they're trying to push in transition.
Yeah, that's the second time. You see right there Brazil with using that long wingspan. But Arkansas's got to get out and run and get some of those easy layups, some of those dunks that get the crowd involved. 2 missed opportunities early on.
29 wins a season ago for this Purdue team. Big Ten regular season and tournament champs. Lawyer gets bumped. That foul against Arkansas newcomer Caleb Battle. Another guy with a ton of experience, a proven track record, big time scorer playing at Temple, and the Hogs are happy to have him.
Yeah, another guy that just adds to this experienced Arkansas team. You know, last year, Arkansas was very young, a lot of freshmen, talented but young. This year, you kind of see a flip. Older guys who've played in a lot of college games, and personally, I just think that's so important when it gets to the NCAA tournament.
Good hands from Chandler Lawson to force the turnover. Davis, Brazil pumps, trying to jam it home.
That would have brought the house down.
Little head fake from Brazil and got called for shuffle in the feet. One of the legendary head coaches in our game, Matt Painter, 19th year at the helm for his alma mater, a great player in his day. And what a coach, National Coach of the Year, and last year leading this team to a 29-6 record. He just knows how to win basketball games, Manny.
Knows how to win basketball games and also knows how to win when you don't have 5 McDonald's All-Americans, 4 lottery picks. He goes and gets guys who are ready to develop their game and just instantly wins with anyone that he recruits. Just an amazing coach.
Smith spots up for 3.
See Braden Smith talking a little trash. You love it. Like I said, a guy who was not recruited by the big schools, overlooked. And he's like, hey, guys, I'm the point guard of a top 5 team in the country. Give me my respect.
Mark couldn't get that 3 to go. There's Smith again. Momentarily thought about a little heat check. Edey hasn't had many touches so far. Draws extra attention. Well defended by the Razorbacks.
Yeah, in order to guard a guy like Edey, it's going to be a team effort. And you saw right there, 3 Razorbacks dove in on him when he got the ball. National Player of the Year candidate, you can't, one-on-one isn't going to work. It's got to be a team effort, team defense. Good job by the Arkansas Razorbacks right there.
Mitchell, bounce pass to Mark in the lane. Kicked out, Chandler Lawson.
Big time shot by Lawson. Not known for the 3-point shot, but hey, if you can step out there and knock it down, it opens up a lot for your game.
Only took 14 of them last year at Memphis, but he hit 7. Smith steps into another. Nothing but net, and he's letting the crowd hear it.
I love his game. I love his game. A guy that was born in Arkansas, actually, Braden Smith. His profile will tell you that he's an Indiana guy, but both mom and dad played in Arkansas. He was born here, so this game might mean a little bit more.
Little heat check, and we've got a foul on the floor. Media timeout. 14-15 to go in the first half. Purdue with an early 5-point advantage inside of a rowdy Bud Walton Arena.
You're going and reloading with a lot of talent who also scored, who also had a lot of production. So you look at that, not too worried about it.
They certainly feel good about the personnel they've got. There's one of the returning players. Mekhi Mitchell gets the turnover. In transition, corner 3, Davenport, the newcomer from Cincinnati.
The guy in the last few dress rehearsals Arkansas has played in has shot the lights out, so see if he can continue that.
Fletcher Lawyer with the up fake and takes it to the rack.
I tell you, Lawyer and Smith, like, you're going to talk about two guards that any coach would want on their team. Just tough guards who can shoot the ball, high basketball IQ. Coach Painter's got to love having those guys.
Little spinning runner is no good for Battle. Flashy pass from Smith. Works into the left corner. Three won't go. Mitchell Strong on the boards.
Trevor Brazil using that long wingspan to contest that shot. I don't know how you can shoot over something like that. Great ball movement.
Davenport, same spot. Too strong. He can hit the three. Shot at 33% last year for the Bearcats. Good ball moving on both ends of the floor. Lawyer, another good look. Tipped out off Purdue.
It's a great possession by Purdue. You get one of the best three-point shooters in the country, a wide open look from the top of the key. Arkansas's got to get it flowing on their offensive end. They've had a few looks, haven't been able to convert, shot themselves in the foot a few times with turnovers. But if you're Arkansas, you love the pace of this game. This is your pace, up and down. Not so slow and methodical. It's more like Purdue likes to play. So you got to enjoy it. Just got to get some points on the board.
Ellis absorbs the contact and finishes.
It's a tough move right there.
And a small sample size already in this preseason, but in two matchups, Ellis, 12 of 16 from the floor. And he's been very efficient as well. Just doesn't turn the ball over.
Yeah, I mean, a guy coming from a Louisville program where he was one of the lone bright spots from that year where just team wasn't very good, and he gets to come in and play in front of a crowd like this, play meaningful basketball. That's important for him.
Shot clock winding down. Jones just had to fire. Ellis lobbing it up, denied by the rim itself.
Arkansas wants one of those plays to bring the house down. They're going for it. Haven't been able to convert one, but this crowd is waiting for it.
Shot clock again winding down. Caleb first for three. Purdue just 2 of 9 from outside now. Arkansas 1 of 5. Neither team shooting the lights out here.
I mean, you got an atmosphere like late February and March, and you're playing in October. You would think there would be a little rust or a little bit of trying to figure some things out. You know, we're still in exhibition season.
Ellis.
That's a tough shot. That's a tough shot. Ellis looking at the crowd, shaking his head. I'm here. I'm here.
Averaged nearly 18 points a year ago. Here's Jones. First, lost it out of bounds. Crowd getting louder by the minute.
Just like you said, you see when a community comes together, and you know, if there is a bright spot to something like that happen, it's this. It's seeing a community come together and you know, lending a helping hand to those who need it. So it's amazing.
The damage spans really all across the state, better part of it anyway, and efforts still being done to help rebuild. Razorbacks starting to catch a little bit of energy here. Purdue had the lead up to 7. Scoreless in the nearly 4-minute stretch. Fall away, Battle. It's the type of player that once that first one goes, look out.
Yeah, I mean, he's classified as an elite scorer, and right there, dribble pull up, put a steal right here, Euro step. I mean, that's tough. Yeah. I mean, what do you want to do? What can you do there? That's high-level basketball.
Putback is there for Edey.
Zach Edey. That's one thing you're going to see with this Purdue team. This crowd is crazy. Arkansas's got a lot of emotion. This Purdue team is going to stay even keel and just going to execute. That's why they're #1 seed in the tournament. That's why they're top 5 team. That's why they're winning the Big Ten year in and year out, because they can play under pressure and they stay focused no matter what, no matter how big the crowd is, loud, or whatever it is, they stay focused.
Baseline jam. Camden Heide. We were told about his athleticism, Manny, and he shows it there.
Yeah, guy who can, younger guy coming in and is trying to find his role in the team, but showed it right there, super athletic. And just like that, Arkansas has 2 big plays, and then Purdue responds with their own 2 big plays and a few stops. That's a sign of a really good team.
Edey has only taken 2 shots thus far. Arkansas whistled for a bump inside. Hogs shooting 40% from the floor. Purdue at 35%. They've taken a lot of threes, just 2 of 10 from downtown. And even though just 2 shots so far for Edey, it shows he can impact a game in ways that other players can't. Doesn't need to score a bunch of points just to do so. Yeah, and a loose ball foul.
I mean, that's a sign of a good player. And Edey with another foul. That's a sign of a good player. Offense comes and goes, but if you can still affect the game when you're not scoring 20 or 30 points, that's how you know that you understand the game and can affect it in multiple different ways. I don't love that call. It's a physical game. Got to let him play through that.
I couldn't have done a whole lot different from his vantage point. But 2 fouls, and he'll sit for a little while. This Purdue team has got some size, though, now. Matt Painter likes to have some big bodies on the roster. They come in all variations. And speaking of bodying up, Layden Blocker, highly touted freshman out of Little Rock.
I'm interested to see how he plays right there. Tough move to the basket. You got a freshman coming in October in this environment and seeing how they respond. Right now, starting off good.
Nice take. Layden Blocker, his explosiveness and relentless scoring instincts showing out here early. One of the nation's top 10 point guards out of high school will handle the basketball here. Lobs into Brazil. How about that adjustment with it?
2 big-time plays by Blocker. Getting a basket, then orchestrating the pick and roll, getting it to his big man Brazil. Those are 2 tough plays, and Brazil just being a better athlete than everyone else on the floor converts that.
Arkansas has taken the lead in a little 1-2 punch here.
Brazil getting to the basket, using that athleticism. Arkansas is taking the lead. On one team, that's pretty awesome.
I'm still waiting on my growth spurt. I won't be 5'7" forever. Nice spin move and a little hook goes home for Kaufman-Renn.
Another guy who is on this Purdue team who played in every single game last year on a team that was #1 in the country for a large portion of the year. So just experience is going to be the name of the game for this Purdue team.
Inside, Layden Blocker again.
Layden Blocker with a nice cut right there. Again, this guy's a freshman playing against top 3 team in the country just out of high school not that long ago.
Scoring starting to come a little bit more fluidly now for both sides.
Yeah, your team's got to settle in. It's early. We've talked about it a lot, but it's one of the first real tests both of these teams are going to get. So it'll take some time.
Purdue has numbers. Gillis up fake, and again Heidi can't get it to go. And a foul called on Arkansas.
It's a physical game. Both teams fighting.
When we talk about this atmosphere, what it's like for the players, another look inside.
Bodies flying. Will to win early on in the season. Gotta love it.
Kaufman-Renn trying to go to work. Called for the travel.
That's just two strong dudes going up against each other. Kai Mitchell holding his ground.
What about the atmosphere for the officials this afternoon, Manny? I mean, they're getting noises coming at them like there's a trip to the Final Four on the line.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, this is the national championship environment right now. Yeah, they probably weren't thinking that they were going to call something like this early on, but it's fun for everyone.
Joseph Pinion, the sharpshooter. He could shoot from the parking lot, and this crowd thinks it's going to go in. He's that good.
Yeah, you heard that. Before he even shot the ball, everyone was already starting to cheer.
Smith's had a good shooting day so far. Off the mark there, but chases down his own board. Has it stripped out off his leg.
Braden Smith, we talk a lot about Zach Edey. We talk a lot about the size, but he's the head of this snake for this Purdue basketball team. And if you want to, try to disrupt this team or try to really get under this team's skin, yes, you got to guard Edey, but if you can take him out of the game, that disrupts the whole flow of this Purdue offense and their defense. He's the anchor on the defensive end as well. If you can take him out of the game, you have a high percentage chance to get under this Purdue team's skin and maybe get a win.
Matt Painter saw him play for just one half in high school and was convinced he was their guy. Shot won't go for Tremont Mark.
Another guy for Arkansas who's played a ton of meaningful basketball.
Illegal screen set by Trey Kaufman-Renn.
See right there. Got that hip out a little bit.
2 of 3 on this roster. Those two guys that were trying to work the screen there that were Mr. Basketball in the state of Indiana. Smith and Kaufman-Renn.
Battle gets the ball. He's trying to attack to score the basket.
Blocker inside, has it blocked. Throwing up a wild shot, Smith in transition just to draw the foul. And he'll go to the line. Well, you mentioned earlier, Manny, the Arkansas roots for that man, Braden Smith, born in this state. His mom, Jenny, was Arkansas's Miss Basketball in 1997. Both of his parents played at Arkansas Tech.
Betty's definitely thinking about that. Like we said early on, a guy, and you think, Purdue is obviously a massive basketball program, and you think, well, hey, he got a scholarship to Purdue. What do you mean he didn't get recruited? This was one of his only big-time schools, so, obviously the ties with Arkansas, but he's coming into every single one of these big schools and wants to let them know, hey, you made a giant mistake. I could be the point guard for your team, but I'm not because you didn't recruit me. And he plays with that fire, and I just love that about him.
Matt Painter has talked about his recruiting philosophy. He's not afraid to go after guys that nobody else is going after. And that can be used for motivation like it is in the case of Smith, where you walk into a young man's living room and say, hey, 13 out of 14 coaches in the Big Ten don't think you belong in this league, but I do.
Yeah.
Which one of us is right?
And we're talking about Smith, but, you know, every single one on this team is somewhat coming from that same cloth where, hey, you know, the rest of the coaches don't want you, but we do. And go make them look like they made the wrong decision. And that's part of this Purdue culture. That's a fabric of this team, and it shows. They play with a lot of passion and a lot of heart. I want to see Lawyer get more involved. That was a good pass there. Purdue needs him to be a scorer.
Battle up and under, and goaltending as Caleb First swatted it off the glass. Chalk it up for Caleb Battle. He was the Hogs' leading scorer in last week's exhibition.
Good defensive play by Mark. You know, Mark is a guy vying for that SEC Defensive Player of the Year. Guy who came from a very defensive program in Houston, understands how to play defense at a high level. See right there with a block. Arkansas is going to really need him to step up and guard the best players on the perimeter. They want to be successful this year.
Smith in and out. Loose ball foul against the Razorbacks.
I mean, if you ask Matt Painter if they came in shooting 33%, talk to some of these guys, grew up with him in Indiana, and say, hey guys, you know, it's on the resume, it happened, but you got to use it as motivation. And knowing Matt Painter, I know he's got the guys ready. Hey, that was in the past, it happened. It's a new year. We got to focus on trying to win national championship this year.
Rebound off the missed free throw, put back no good, and Mitchell secures the board. Matt Painter said about that game, he said, you know, our shot selection really was pretty good. We just didn't hit the shots. To the rack, Ellis.
Love the speed that Ellis plays with, but yeah, I mean, that's the game of basketball. You know, you can do everything right, and then flick your wrist on a shot, and the ball just doesn't go in. And you know, that's why these fans are here. That's why everyone loves it, because there is that uncertainty of what's actually going to happen.
Travel inside. Arkansas wanted the traveling call before that on the slip on the perimeter. They end up getting it anyway.
Eli Ellis, just a guy who's so good with the ball, can run the team. Like we said, he played for a Louisville team that didn't play a lot of meaningful basketball games, so there was a little bit of a mystery of him coming to Arkansas. How well would he be able to perform in games that actually matter? And you know, in front of 20,000 people here, he's doing a good job so far.
Mark pulls up. Tremont Mark on the Jerry West Shooting Guard of the Year watch list for good reason.
A guy who can get in there and hit the mid-range shot. A lost art where everyone wants to shoot a bunch of threes. He can get in and knock that shot down and then also be the best defender on the court. Special player. Great pass. Great pass. That's what Arkansas wants. Arkansas wants to get out and run. This Purdue team likes to play half-court basketball. Arkansas wants to play 94 feet. Gotta love that. Great defensive play right here. Davenport, find your point guard. Point guard, find your big man running. That's textbook basketball.
From one end to the other. Mekhi Mitchell started 31 games last year in his first season in Fayetteville, using his final year of eligibility. His twin brother, Mikal, was here last year as well. He's transferred to Little Rock to finish out his college career. And the dish from L. Ellis. He was a combination of scoring and assists last year. He averaged over 4 assists for Louisville. And in 16 minutes of last week's exhibition, man, he finished with a plus-minus of 29. In the world of so many advanced analytics nowadays to make our head spin, but that's one that we see looked at a lot, and that tells the efficiency of a guy like L. Ellis.
Yeah, and for those who don't understand that, a plus-minus, I mean, if it's that high, that means good things are happening for your team when you're on the court, and then when you're off the court, not as many good things are happening. So, obviously a guy that Coach Musselman's going to want out there in crunch time, a legal screen right there by Mitchell, but a guy that Musselman's going to want out there in crunch time, someone that makes positive plays happen.
Purdue led by as many as 7 early on. Arkansas slowly chipped away at it and now trying to build a lead before half. Pinion. Pass tipped out of bounds. Will stay on this end with 1:56 to go.
Purdue's going to want to try to slow down some of this Arkansas speed. In order to do that, you can't turn the ball over in the half court, because when Arkansas gets their hands on it, 3 and 4 guys sprinting out. They want to go get a dunk. You got 20,000 people in here for an exhibition game. Hey, I want to show out a little bit.
Mitchell not able to finish. To the rack, and nobody underneath to protect. Trey Kaufman-Wren. He was a key piece coming off the bench last year, averaged over 11 minutes, looking to play a bigger role this season.
Yeah, like I said, another guy that played a ton of meaningful games, played in every single game for the #1 team in the country. Big time shot right there above that court. That's a big shot. And a guy that, if he sees one go in, he can get 3 or 4 more to drop real quick. Let's see how this Purdue team reacts. Obviously a little bit of bleeding going on, down by 7, but this is an experienced team. Let's see what they do. See right there, that's the sign of a good team. Crowd is into it. Arkansas is going on a little bit of a run. What do you do to stop the bleeding? Purdue gets an easy basket. That's what tells you teams that are going to be in the mix at the end of the season, is if they can feel the pressure and then react to it in a positive way.
Arkansas has made 5 of their last 7 shots from the field. Uncharacteristically, Purdue has turned it over 11 times in this first half. Arkansas has turned that into 8 points off the turnovers.
Yeah, that's one thing Matt Painter's not going to love. He prides himself on not shooting themselves in the foot, being a team that makes minimal mistakes, and you got 11 turnovers, and it's not even halftime yet. You're on pace for 20. Can't win a lot of basketball games when you give it to the other team 20 times.
Trying to work this clock as far down as they can. Nearly turned over in the corner. Lawyer fakes, fires, in and out. And a foul on the tip back. Purdue will go to the line.
This Purdue team fights, man. They fight. Got a good look from Lawyer, a guy who normally hits that corner shot. And then Kaufman-Wren just not giving up on the play. Using that experience to get him an extra possession, get him to the free throw line. Those are the plays that add up when we get down to the 4-minute mark in the second half. That's a big play by Kaufman-Wren right there.
64% foul shooter last year. First trip from the line today. Purdue as a team 4 of 6. In and out. And that's the way the first half ends. Arkansas started slow, Manny, but they got rolling, and they'll take a 5-point lead into the break.
Yeah, 5-point lead. Started off not how they wanted to, but got the crowd into it, got the pace, started going a little bit fast.
Whenever he was in the game, so he can impact it without scoring.
Yeah, he's just got to stay out of foul trouble, but I could imagine Musselman and his staff knows he has 2 fouls, and they're going to go at him. But you can see early on they're trying to get it to him. And Brazil with that long wingspan, puts those arms out, and it's tough to get passes around him.
Arkansas with 6 steals in the first half. That's the second from Brazil. He'll try a 3.
It's a good start for Arkansas. Get a pick and roll and then get a wide open shot for Brazil, and he finally gets one to drop. I tell you, Purdue's gonna need some offense here soon. Don't want this game to get out of hand.
Zach Edey with the slam.
There you go. Purdue basketball. Get it into your National Player of the Year. Let him do what he does.
Ellis looking for help. Brazil looking for another. He's got it.
Such a mismatch problem. Guy who's 6'9", 6'10", who can step out there, but also is quick enough to get by you. It's a tough guard for this Purdue team that has size, but not always the speed.
This will stay with Purdue.
You see right here, Ellis just orchestrating the offense. Great pass. Get Brazil, who's a knockdown shooter, wide open look like that. That's going to go in more times than not. And then pick and pop.
Arkansas expects to be a better three-point shooting team this year. 31% a season ago. 4 different players have hit one from downtown so far today. There's Edey. Another jam back-to-back. And the big man trying to get going.
Great move by Braden Smith right there. Got both Arkansas defenders to jump in the air thinking he was going to shoot and then give it to the big guy. 2 quick baskets for Edey. Let's see if he can continue to stay involved.
Smith nearly took it away. Davis stepped out of bounds. Well, keep in mind for Zach Edey, he's only played organized basketball for 6 years. It's mostly hockey and baseball before that. But in those 6 years, he's gotten a lot of experience, including a member of the Canadian national team that qualified for the Olympic Games that'll be held in Paris next summer.
Yeah, I think people don't necessarily understand how impressive that is to, obviously 7'4", but to play organized basketball for 6-7 years, to then be the National Player of the Year in the NCAA. I don't care how tall you are, how fast you are, how you can jump. That's impressive. And Matt Painter talked in their press conference how he never really got to, be the best guy growing up and, be the #1 guy on the team for a long period of time as you age to where you gain that confidence. He's like kind of just starting to get like, oh, wait, I'm one of the best players in the entire country. So that confidence has to build, but just an amazing story, Zach Edey.
He played at IMG Academy behind Duke's Mark Williams and only averaged about 5 minutes a game. He was not on a lot of radars, but he has progressively gotten better in his time as a Boilermaker. His scoring average has gone up by 8 points each of the last 2 years. One of the nation's returning leading scorers at well over 20 a contest.
And that's just the exact story of a Purdue basketball player coming in, not highly recruited, may not be their full form yet, but then you go to Purdue and you get there for 3 or 4 years and you come out a totally different player.
Nice speed. Tremont Martin to Makai Mitchell.
That's why these Arkansas teams have been so good the past few years, is they've got 4 and 5 guys who can go make a play. You see a lot of teams are built where you got 1 or 2 guys who can go make a play, got a shooter, and you got a big guy. Coach Musselman likes basketball players, guys who can play, make a bunch of plays. Purdue's going to need to settle down here. This crowd's getting into it.
Let's go back to that dunk from Makai Mitchell.
It's right here. You got multiple guys who can penetrate the defense and then dish it off for a slam like that. That's just tough to guard. You got 4 guys on the court who can make their own play, make their own offense. It's just tough to defend.
Mitchell shot nearly 67% from the floor last season. You might say, oh, that's easy to do when you're dunking the ball. But a lot of that goes into the work. He puts himself in the right spots.
Oh, I know a lot of players who get easy looks but can't finish. So that is an amazing feat.
Mitchell fires the three. Too strong. He only took 1 3 all of last season, and he hit it. Lawyer in transition. Long ball just has not been there for Purdue for most of the afternoon.
Yeah, Lawyer's a guy who was freshman of the week, it felt like every week in the Big Ten, and a guy who hasn't got his offense going so far. But in order for this Purdue team to be who they actually are, he's got to be one scoring the basketball a lot. He just hasn't had it thus far.
On the Jerry West Award watch list. Finishes
there you go.
And the foul.
There you go. Tough player right there. Hadn't got it going. Got to the basket over these Arkansas athletes. And got up talking a little trash, too. Got to love that part of the game.
Fletcher Lawyer, his father, John Lawyer, a scout for the Clippers, served as an interim head coach for the Pistons at one point, and his brother Foster played at Michigan and Davidson. Well-respected basketball family. And Fletcher's made his own way, including some national notoriety. Won the National High School three-point contest at the Final Four in New Orleans in 2022. Can't convert the three-point play here.
I commend this Purdue team, one, for this way to move your feet. Zach Edey right there. That's a 7-4 out there guarding Mark, who's a shifty player. That's impressive.
L. Ellis called for the loose ball. Got tangled up underneath the basket with Fletcher Lawyer, who finished the play. Purdue only 2 assists today, 13 turnovers. Gillis for 3. Online, but too strong, and an offensive board. Jones will try his hand.
I mean, yeah, those are just shots that Purdue normally converts on, and you don't convert.
Drive and kick by Ellis. 3 no good from Battle. Jones on a little drive, hangs, got his own rebound and put it in. How about the finish from Lance Jones?
Lance Jones, a guy we talked about with a ton of experience. So many of these guys on Purdue are not going to be rattled by this crowd. And right there, that's just not giving up on the play. Big time play.
He is a fun player to watch. Scored over 1,500 points in 4 seasons at Southern Illinois. 2-time all-defensive team selection as well in the Missouri Valley, averaging 1.5 steals throughout his career.
He's been aggressive too. You know, you see guys who come in as transfers and maybe are trying to get their footing, maybe a little passive. You know, he's like, I don't care that I play in the Missouri Valley, a smaller conference. I'm here now, and I'm going to be one of the leaders on this team. I played a lot of college basketball, so you guys follow my lead. I know what I'm doing. There's another steal from Jones. Making big plays.
Extra pass, gets it back for a better look. That's his shot on the catch and shoot. Edey, not once, stripped away, but a foul called.
He's so big, man.
You know, Eric Musselman was asked earlier this week on the preparation for a big guy like that. He said he even went back to his NBA days and looked at kind of how they tried to defend the likes of Shaquille O'Neal, just to try to figure out what might work.
I mean, when it comes to college perspective, what is the comp? I mean, you got to go back that far. Just a guy, like we said, you can't defend one-on-one. It's a team effort. You see every time he touches the ball, 3 and 4 Razorbacks are around him. That's the only way. That's the only way to guard a guy with that size, but also that skill level.
Who were some of the most memorable big men you had played against in your time at Arkansas?
I mean, coming to mind, Karl Anthony Towns was one that was tough. You know, obviously 6'10". He was a little more nimble, shot the ball. Great defense by Arkansas right there. But yeah, he was one of those guys that, you know, obviously got a game plan for because he was just so talented.
Look at the company joining there. The Admiral, David Robinson, and the Diesel, Shaq O'Neal. The kind of numbers he's putting up.
Yeah, that's a, you get your name mentioned with those guys, you're doing something right.
Davenport.
I love Davenport's aggression. Like he's looking for his shot. He's confident in it. That's a tough look, but I love how he's trying to find his offense and isn't afraid to take the big shot.
Gillis, little turnaround, goes home.
Here we go, Josh. Tie game. I'm telling you, this Purdue team, they've been there, they've done it. This whole team is back from last year. These crowds, the atmosphere doesn't faze them. Had multiple times to go down, you know, double digits, to get blown out, and they just stick around and stick around.
Well, you called it out in the first half. The togetherness of this group is impressive to watch. Blocker spots up and knocks down the three.
That's a tough shot. Freshman is playing his tail off right now. I think the guy came in a little underrated. You know, you got the transfers, and that's what everyone talks about. And, you know, not a McDonald's All-American, freshman or anything like that, but it's come in and say, hey, I'm one of the newcomers too. I can play.
We get whistled for the foul here.
That's a tough move. Almost lost his balance a little bit, but big time shot.
Well, speaking of togetherness and good culture of a program, the freshman Layden Blocker talked about his admiration of Arkansas last year in their journey through adversity. And he said he envisioned himself going through those ups and downs of the season, dealing with injuries and other things. That's the kind of player you want in your program, who looks forward to going through the ups and the downs, but just being together in the process.
Yeah, I mean, when you look back at that Arkansas team, that win over Kansas to go to Sweet 16 was so much more special. And obviously Devo Davis in the interview broke down into tears because he understood there were so many lows, so many highs, up and down. And it just makes those wins that are meaningful for the program so much sweeter. So the fact that Blocker is going to embrace that is important, especially at a young age.
Lawyer for three, knocks it down.
There you go.
Calm, cool, and collected as the sophomore from Fort Wayne.
Yeah, you got to understand that this Purdue team, every place they go on the road, it's a sold-out crowd. So, again, guys, just staying even keel, understanding that crowd's going to get into it. It ebbs and flows. Stick to the game plan and execute. Nice shot by Davenport there. I like his game. I think he's going to be a nice surprise for Arkansas fans as someone who's going to be able to fill it up in that scorer's column this year.
They liked what they saw in their first dose of him. Hit 5 threes in the red-white game. And there's Lawyer again. He is feeding off this crowd's energy.
I love it. We talk about it. And Lawyer, Smith, these guys are tough. They're tough. They want the crowd to get into it. They want you to, you know, play them hard so they can respond. That's just a tough shot right there. You know, decent defense, better offense.
Second and 1 opportunity of the second half for Fletcher Lawyer. Started all 35 a year ago.
I love this atmosphere. You forget that this game doesn't count.
Foul to Chandler Lawson, his third, as Lawyer knocks down the free throw. Two-point lead for the Boilermakers. Lawyer, the first player from either side in double figures with 10.
The clock didn't start.
The crowd had their rhythm going perfectly, and they are upset that it just got spoiled. I think we're having an issue with the clock starting right now. You know, these two programs have not met up very much. The first meeting, 1939 Sugar Bowl Classic in New Orleans. A Purdue win, 57-51. The last meeting was a 1983 NCAA second round matchup in Tampa, Florida. Ninth-ranked Arkansas pulled out the victory, 78-68. Listen to the list of names that were Razorbacks then. Alvin Robertson,
wow.
Darrell Walker, Joe Klein.
Wow.
Talking about greatness, legendary status. Off the turnover, Lawyer lobs it up. Tough finish in midair.
And Blocker turned that ball over, but was the first one back. Those are the signs of someone who understands the game, where, hey, you can have a turnover, get back on defense and try to disrupt the offense and get the ball back. Another turnover by Arkansas. You can't have two turnovers back-to-back. You got a 2-point deficit.
Put back won't go for Edey. And a loose ball foul on Purdue. Two-point advantage for Purdue. This crowd not going anywhere.
You see right here, Blocker, freshman, nice move with the step back, knock it down in front of this crowd. And then Foster Lawyer doing what he does. Purdue with the early 2-point. Knew they weren't going to lay down. They're a top 3 team. That's not what top 3 teams do. And it just shows how well coached they are, how tough they are. Where you come into an environment like this in October, you don't have everything in place as a team right now. It's so early on, and continue to fight. And now you have a lead in the second half. That's all you can ask for.
Zach Edey only 2 shots in 8 minutes in the first half after picking up a second foul. Came out, made his presence known. 6 early points to help Purdue claw their way back.
We'll see how Arkansas responds out of the timeout. A little slower on the offensive end.
Brazil will shoot 3.
Again, can't foul the 3-point shooter. I know he's just hit 2, so you're kind of rushing out there to contest it, but cannot foul and send someone to the free throw line for 3 shots.
He hit 3 threes in 3 of his first 6 games last year. Injured 9 games into the season, but he was averaging 13 and 6 before the game that ended his season.
You see a guy with that length and size and has such a smooth jump shot. I mean, NBA scouts are all over him and what he can bring to an NBA team, not only offensively but defensively as well.
I do feel the need to set the record straight. You did lead that Arkansas team your senior year in 3-point percentage, for any fans that forgot.
No one will talk about it, Josh. No one will talk about it. But hey, I'm just here to call the games and highlight these guys now.
Oddly enough, 46% from 3, and that's the number Arkansas is on now. 46-45 advantage. Another turnover. 15th they forced today.
Caliph. Can't give a score like that, an open look like that. And Arkansas responds. We'll see how Purdue comes back.
Lawyer, he has been money in this second half.
It's just a sign of a great player, someone who doesn't have it going early on and can just flip it on when your team needs it the most. That's a big shot. You got to stop the bleeding again. The crowd's into it, and you shut them up with a corner three. That's big time.
Leads all scorers with 13. There's Lawson with his second bucket.
You know, he is quietly impacting this game massively. Lawson is guarding Edey, giving up about a foot, and then also knocking down some shots on the offensive end.
Down low to Edey, they had one-on-one. And an over-the-back foul on Edey. And that's his fourth.
This crowd's rowdy. Edey right there, falling away. You'd like to see him go towards the basket. You know, you're 7'4". I know you don't want to get a charge, but don't need to fall away from the basket. Go towards the basket and lay it up.
He'll sit for a little while with 4 fouls. Corner three.
Big time shot.
Timeout. Purdue. 13 games with 20 or more. Earned his degree at Temple this summer. Here at Arkansas, and he's still got actually 2 years of eligibility remaining. Started his career at Butler. After an all-conference first year at Temple, suffered a season-ending foot injury early the next year, but came back strong last season. Averaged 18 points, mostly off the bench. And he's caught fire here in the second half of the Razorbacks.
Professional scorer. Well, even at his time at Temple, he was someone who put the ball in the basket early and often, and doesn't change when you put on a different jersey. This crowd's into it right now.
Gillis spots up. Boilermakers now 4 of 20 from downtown. Brazil.
Yeah, I mean, 4 of 20 for a Purdue team is uncharacteristic, but they're hanging in there. Just got to string together some good offensive possessions and then also stop this Arkansas offense.
Blocked away by Lawson.
Hey, I love this. This is two teams competing. You see right here the block, and then stand over them for a little bit. Take a look. I like it when guys go at each other. That's what the game is about, and compete.
Lawyer had gotten the better of the paint battles in this half with 2-and-1 plays. Lawson didn't want to see it happen again.
Gillis is due. I mean, this is a guy who knocked a ton of threes down last year.
Shot it at 38%.
Yeah, had some good looks. Haven't had any in the fall. Got that one. Slow this crowd down a little bit.
Tremont Mark pulls up and hits.
That's a tough shot. That mid-range.
And you talk about the big games, Mark. Career high 26 points to lead Houston past Auburn last year in a game that sent the Cougars to the Sweet 16. Gillis looking for another. Mason Gillis
High-level shot making right here from both sides. Man, we're getting an NCAA tournament game, and I can't get over it. Let's put another 20 minutes on the clock.
Davis for Lawson, and one.
That's a great pass. That's a great pass. I'm going to learn from this. Like, hey, I can't get in foul trouble because my team needs me out there. But also credit to the Arkansas team. They're attacking him. They're making him pick up some of those fouls. So, you know, that's on Arkansas as well.
The four-time high school state champion Chandler Lawson completes the three-point play on the other side of the timeout. And it's a 5-point lead for the Razorbacks, back to what they had it at halftime. Gillis, who's hit 2 threes recently, lost it trying to drive. 3 on none. Brazil!
Okay. That's what the crowd was waiting for.
Smith pulls up, knocks it down.
I'm just...
Ooh, little friendly fire. Purdue got all tangled up on the run back.
I'm just so impressed with this Purdue team. You know, they take this exhibition game. I think we had some wet spot. That's right here, Devo Davis doing what he does on the defensive end. Give it up to your big man and dunk it home. Show that athleticism. But like I was saying, I'm so impressed with this Purdue team. They take this game. You know, you're #1 team in the country last year, top 3 this year. You come on the road in an exhibition game. You do it, and then you have, you know, Brazil with the dunk, crowd's going crazy, and then Braden Smith just one dribble pull up, knocks it down, quiets the crowd. Like, they've done that time and time again, and it's just, it's impressive. You know, a lot of teams, court's still wet. You know, a lot of teams would fold under this crowd, would fold under this adrenaline, and Purdue doesn't.
Five to shoot.
This is what Battle likes. Gonna get him with a walk. In the NBA, that's a bucket.
Yeah, took the words right out of my mouth.
Yep. Let's take a look. Nah, that's not a travel. I don't think that's a travel. I think that first foot, he was still dribbling.
Gillis can't hit that one.
In the back.
Going for the rebound. They get Trey Kaufman-Wren on the foul. When do we see Zach Edey come back into this game? When do they roll the dice with him coming on the floor with 4 fouls?
I mean, you can survive these 2 minutes and get to that 4-minute media. You can do that, but if that goes in, okay. You maybe can survive these 2 minutes and keep the score around this 4-5 range, but then you need to get it back in and just roll the dice. He's your player of the year. He's got to be in crunch time.
Double team on Smith.
Such good defense by Arkansas.
Boilermakers pass out of it. And a foul on the floor on Arkansas. Be a 1-and-1 situation for Purdue. Both teams in the bonus.
Arkansas is doing such a good job on their traps. You know, a lot of teams, they'll trap and they start to get their hands a little antsy and start fouling, hacking. Arkansas does a great job of not touching, wide hands, and just making Purdue have to pass out of the double team. You see right there, you just unfortunately don't get the rebound, but that was a good defensive possession by Arkansas.
Trey Kaufman-Wren 0 for 2 at the foul line so far today. Purdue just 8 of 13 as a team.
That'll make some free throws. Kaufman-Wren has missed some crucial ones here in this game. Need those on the road.
Mark.
Tough move. I mean, you got a guy who's a Jerry West finalist and someone who, you know, could be argued as the third or fourth best scorer on the team. Like, you got a good team.
Davis comes up with it. Long lob inside
Bad
for
pass.
Mitchell.
No need to make that pass. Got Purdue on your heels, get a good shot.
Gillis wide open. Top of the key, three is good.
He's made some big shots in the second half. Didn't really have it going early on, but when his numbers called this half, he's answering.
His third three of the day. He's tied for the team lead with 13 points. Strong rebound from Ethan Morton. Chance to make it a one-possession game. Not on Devo Davis watch.
Great defense. Great defense by Devo.
Takes an NBA three.
That would have brought the house down, I tell you. And one, yep.
Trey Kaufman-Wren and the foul.
This team just sticks it out, stays with it, stays with it.
Final media time.
If you're Purdue on the road, if you're Arkansas against a top 5 team, like, you're getting some great experience that other teams just aren't able to get this time of the year.
That's a big one from Kaufman-Wren.
Yeah, that is big.
Impressive for the sophomore. He was 0 of 3 from the line before that, and he had all that time out to think about it and the crowd to deal with.
Knocked it down. You love that. That's, you know, just coming in and making plays when you need to make plays. That's really the name of the game. Devo Davis been quiet on the offensive end, but has impacted the game on the defensive end. And as soon as I say that, almost. That's a foul.
It's not the foul the Razorbacks wanted, and it's number 5 on Mekhi Mitchell, and it sends Purdue to the line with a chance to take the lead.
Yeah, you don't want to foul Zach Edey 94 feet from the basket. He had the rebound, just get back on defense right there. Yeah, just swipe, get him to the free throw line.
73% foul shooter last season was Zach Edey. He's 2 for 2 today.
Big time free throw. With Purdue, you know, this Arkansas team has had this crowd into it, has made tons of good plays with a chance right here to take the lead with under 4 minutes to play is impressive. Can't do it. Yeah, tie ball game.
Brazil will go to the line. First foul against Gillis. 1-1.
And that's the matchup problem with Brazil. Like, you think, okay, he's that tall, you're not going to be able to drive the basket, but he can obviously step out and shoot it. But that's sneaky quickness of being able to get by you with the dribble. It just makes him such a tough guard.
67% shooter last year. He's now 4 of 4 today. Played his freshman year at Missouri. 2 for 2 trip for number 2. Game high 15 for Trevin Brazil. Crowd on their feet.
Let's see how this Purdue team responds.
Nice pass by Smith.
pass.
No look. And a strip out of Edey's hands will send him to the line.
It's a great play by Purdue. You got 2-point deficit and need a good look, and Braden Smith just doing what he does, being the point guard, finding your player of the year, getting him to the free throw line.
"58 wins over the last 2 seasons for this Purdue team, most in school history. Lane violation. They got Trevin Brazil for stepping in.
Scarlett's gonna like that. I didn't see. I saw they moved a little early. Give him a second chance. Let's see who steps up for this Arkansas team. Who is going to make the play? Who's going to make the play?
Laying out on the floor, Davis, and a huge collision between he and Edey. Goodness.
That looked like that hurt. You got a 7-4 diving. Got some tension now.
That's one of 1,000 reasons why Razorback fans adore Devo Davis.
Yeah,
it's an exhibition game, and he's laying his body on the line just for a loose ball.
Yep. Putting his body on the line doesn't matter. Going to do everything to try to come out with a win, even if it's an exhibition game. That's just the type of player he is. Hope he's okay.
Well, good to see Edey back up to his feet as he makes his way to the bench, and it's good to see Devo Davis now helped up. When we talked about the last meeting between these two, an NCAA tournament game, just over 2.5 to go, and we are tied at 65. Arkansas's last tune-up before they'll take on Alcorn State on November 6th. Season tickets sold out yet again before the regular season even hits. Back in the summer, in fact. The Bud Walton Arena that seats over 19,000.
The fans are excited. You bring a top 25 team into Bud Walton every year, the fans will get behind you.
Smith has it swatted away. Will stay with Purdue. Edey finishes, and Purdue.
Big time play. Let's see how Arkansas responds here.
First lead for the Boilermakers in 9 minutes. Tipped out of bounds by Jones. Good anticipation.
Zach Edey getting into it. Guarding on the perimeter. 7-footer that can move his feet.
Tremont Mark draws the foul. Will go to the line with a chance to tie it up.
He's good. He's good. He knows how to use his body. He knows how to get to his spots.
This is the type of player you want on the floor to close out a game. Low turnovers, and in last year's NCAA tournament, Manny, he shot 92% from the foul line.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a winning basketball player. Doesn't turn the ball over, and then can also get into his offensive shot. He's a mid-range shooter. I love to see the mid-range shooter in today's era where, you know, you step in front of half court and fire it from three. He gets to his spots, raises up. He's nice size. He's tall, knocks it down. Good player. He's gonna do a lot of good things for Arkansas this year.
Lefty from Dickinson, Texas, leaves the second short, and it's a 1-point lead for Purdue. It's the Razorbacks' first miss from the foul line today. 7 of 8.
Player of the year.
Missed the jam. Got the loose ball.
Fought for it, got it back. Way to not give up on the play. Arkansas needs a stop here. Got it. Let's see who can find the offense for Arkansas right here. Got Battle.
Step back. Too strong.
Tough shot. I mean, you got Battle, a guy who is the scorer, looking for a three. But I think Purdue will take the step back three.
Smith took an errant hand to the eye as he sold the pump fake. We'll go to the foul line.
Great pump fake.
Two for two today is Smith. Drops it in. An 87% foul shooter a year ago. Playing in the state he was born in today.
Knocks it down. I mean, this Purdue team just continues to find a way to get it done when the crowd, everyone is against them. Again, so impressed with this Boilermaker basketball. You're right here. Just got to clean up some things, but as you should. It's early in the season, it's exhibition game. Obviously, there's going to be things that you need to clean up. All right, Josh. This is what can't ask for anything else. Christmas came in October.
Mark pulls up from three.
That's tough. Big time players making big time plays. I love that. That's a tough shot. Run the clock down and then take the shot. Either we get some free basketball or you walk away with the win. That's got to be the game plan for the Boilermakers right now.
With the way they've been able to snag the offensive rebounds, how early do they want to take a shot?
For a team like Purdue, I would take it at 6 seconds, 5 or 6 seconds, give you a chance to get a rebound, a tip in, but no earlier than that. You don't want Arkansas to get the rebound and be able to pop a timeout and get something on their end of the court.
They go inside towards Edey, intercepted by Lawson. Arkansas a chance to win
See
it.
what we got here.
Ellis at the buzzer, won't go.
You get a look.
Are you not entertained?
You get a layup. Free basketball in October.
9 early in the second half. Purdue led by as many as 7 early in the first half. The Razorbacks win the tip-off to start the extra period. Mark steps into a three, and he'll shoot 3.
He's taken over as the offensive scoring threat. So calm with the basketball, orchestrating it. Purdue dodges a bullet there with his foot on the line, only giving up 2 shots. But cleaning up some water on the floor.
Got to get extra towels involved here.
There's been a few wet spots today.
Well, for Tremont Mark, he hit the 3 that tied the game and ultimately sent us to this point. Rare miss. 78% last year for Houston.
Two misses. We'll see if those prove to be vital as we go down to the stretch, but you've got to convert at the free throw line, especially in an overtime game.
Little runner, in and out for Lawyer.
Ellis missed the opportunity to potentially get that up to Brazil for a dunk. Smartly brings it out.
Shot clock winding down. Blocked by Edey. And we'll stop it for the violation.
Great defensive possession by Purdue. You know, for Edey being 7'4", he really moves his feet well. Better than I thought. From watching them all last year, I didn't think he could move laterally that well. He's doing a really nice job today.
Pulling up, Smith won't go.
Lids on the basket for both teams here in overtime. Let's see who can convert.
Thrown away. Well, the difference in this game for Purdue has been on the offensive glass. Arkansas has outshot the Boilermakers 49 to 38%. They've turned it over less. But the offensive glass has been the story. 14-1 advantage for Purdue.
Yeah, Lawson is holding Edey.
Zach Edey, who's 5 of 6 today, will shoot a pair.
It's also really impressive how effective of a free throw shooter he is. You got to understand, you're 7'4". Sometimes the only defense is to foul you. You got to be an effective free throw shooter, and he is. He's worked on it, and he's not just someone that when he catches it, you can just hack and then take him to the free throw line where he's going to miss. No, he's going to convert. He can knock free throws down, and that's a huge weapon to have if you're Purdue.
And keeping in mind, he's only played organized basketball for 6 years, so to develop that skill that quick.
Yeah. Definitely. I know guys who've been playing basketball for 2 decades and can't hit a free throw.
Yeah, the light. Well, Edey's hit 6 of 7 so far today.
Big free throws. Big free throws.
Ellis driving to the rim.
And the foul. I mean, this game is just high-level players on both ends making timely plays when their team needs it. I mean, this is just, what more can you ask for as a college basketball fan? Ellis, coming from the ACC last year, didn't get to play in games where with this high level of a crowd and this high level of two teams going together, and he's just making play after play.
His father, Albert, was a 6-time All-American track star at Pitt, and he showed some speed on that play. Arkansas by 1. Shot clock winding down. Lawyer, a runner, won't go. Out of bounds off Purdue.
You gotta love the competition here. This two heavyweights throwing haymakers at each other. And just look at the level of passion and how hard these guys are playing, and I love it. It just means something to them.
Ethan Morton checks in. Fletcher Lawyer will get a break. Ellis pulls up, floater.
Big time shot. And missed the game winner in regulation, came back, made 2 giant plays, give Arkansas this 3-point lead. How will Purdue respond? That's such a luxury.
Just throw
Gotta
it.
finish it though. Gotta finish it. Gotta finish it.
Ellis with the basketball. He scored all 5 of Arkansas's points here in overtime. In and out.
Man, if that would have went in. Ears already hurting.
Smith. What do we got? There was contact on the other end of the floor.
Yeah.
And Purdue was wanting the foul. We're either going to have a foul or a flop warning.
They're going to take a look at it. They got to.
Well, no doubt there was contact.
Going to play basketball. Tell you, Josh, a basket right here for Arkansas could be a backbreaker. We'll see how Purdue defends, but if they get a score here, it's going to be tough for the Boilermakers to overcome that.
Mark, free throw line, pull up is good.
Big time shot.
Jones for 3. Big time shot from a big time player.
Right back. Time and time again. The experience of this Purdue team just shows up in key moments.
Hadn't hit one all game, was 0 of 4. And with ice water running through his veins, he keeps Purdue in it. Jamon Mark will go to the line and shoot a pair.
Right, so last time he missed 2. Let's see how he responds. Going back to the free throw line with 2 of the biggest free throws of the game today.
A sellout here today at Bud Walton Arena. Capacity crowd for a charity exhibition contest and a top 15 matchup.
Got to make free throws. Can't give this Purdue team any life. They're too talented. They're too experienced.
Arkansas made their first 7 from the line, but just 1 of 5 until that big one from Tremont Mark. Still a 1-possession game. And Purdue will take a timeout. We'll take the break with them. 22 seconds to go.
I mean, it's an exhibition game, so for the fans, if you want to, and I think we got a, before the throw-in foul. Ideally, you would like some time to get off the clock, but I mean, you're sending them to the free throw line. They can't get 3 points. See right here, it's a little small shove. Probably could have let that one go. But yeah, that's what you were saying, Josh. I'm in the camp of you foul up 3. It's just so much has to happen when you do, and guys can make tough shots. So when you just play straight up, you can do everything you can. They can still knock down the 3.
In and out.
And you have the opportunity for that when you foul.
Two-point game.
I mean, you might want to foul Mark. I think that's Ziti's 5th.
It is. And Zach Edey is fouled out. Credit to him, though, for playing with 4 fouls for as long as he did. Nearly 9+ game minutes without picking up the 5th.
Yeah, I mean, that's everything you can ask for. He played that final stretch in regulation, and then you go to overtime, and it's 20 seconds left, and he fouls out. Much respect to Zach Edey and this Boilermaker program coming in here for an exhibition game. They're going to have a great year, I'll tell you that.
Edey finishes with 15 points, 9 rebounds in 24 minutes. He's not your normal 7-4 guy that you only expect to play just over 20 minutes. He played 32 minutes a game last season. Tremont Mark, meanwhile, calmly knocking down the foul shot. And he can make it a 2-possession game if he can hit the second.
This is a big one right here. Got it.
It's Tremont Mark at the other end who forces the turnover.
Big defensive play by Mark. When your team needs you, your upperclassmen have to step up, and Tremont Mark talking to himself a little bit. Gotta love it.
Chandler Lawson, all he knows is winning. Won 4 state titles in high school, 3 at Memphis East, transferred to Wooddale where he was coached by his father, and together they won the school's first state title. Using his final year of eligibility here at Arkansas. And he calmly hits a pair. Final seconds tick away. And that'll do it. Arkansas in overtime. A game that had a mid-March feel to it. won't go.
Music by Nizru Nirmal.
चल के बा बंदे